Hey everybody, Big Daddy Biggs here, West Louisiana Bee Farm, and I want to give you a gift today if you'll accept it from me. If you're looking at this channel, then more than likely you are interested in beekeeping, and maybe you already have bees, and if you do, this probably won't be for you. You might pick up a little bit from it, but this is mostly for new beekeepers and people who are looking to get into beekeeping, or if you're just looking to expand your apiary with some new genetics, you know, some feral bees. You can glean a little bit from this maybe. What I want to show the people that are thinking about beekeeping or wanting to get into it, I do sell bees. That's what I do here at West Louisiana Bee Farm. I create new colonies for beekeepers, but I don't just want to sell you bees. I want to show you how you can actually get bees practically for free, in comparison to what you're going to pay from another beekeeper. And a lot of people know how to do this. There's a lot of videos out there on how to do this, but the only thing that I'm going to do differently is I'm going to take you I'm going to take you through the whole process this season of catching your bees, getting your swarm trap set up, catching the bees, what to use for bait, the thing that I found that works the best, and then transferring those bees when we catch some. I'm going to show you how to bring them home, and there are specific ways that you need to do that, in my opinion. Everything on this channel is my opinion. It's not scientific fact. It's just my opinion. I'll show you how to bring them home. I'll show you how to put them... Well, I need to back up a step. I'll show you how to build your own hive instead of buying other stuff. Now, the swarm trap I'm going to show you, you can buy it or you can build it yourself. I have some already around here, and I'll just show you what I've got and tell you where you can buy some, or give you the dimensions, and you can build your own. We're going to get them home. We're going to get them in a hive, a box that you make, and from there I'll just kind of bring you through the process of getting them through the summertime, getting them into the fall. We're not going to get honey the first year off of whatever swarm we catch. That's just not going to happen. Even if you buy bees from somebody else like me, you're not going to get a honey production your first year, or you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should leave that honey for them. Let that get them through the winter, and I guarantee if you do that, you'll have a super strong hive or colony the next year, and you'll get a ton of honey off of it. Well, not quite a ton, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. I'm going to introduce you to beekeeping, and do so in such a way that it doesn't cost you nearly as much money as it would if you went and bought everything that you can imagine to buy that's in the catalog. So I'm going to show you how to do it for, I'm going to say, maybe $100-150. Now, you know, if you want to buy a suit, a bee suit and stuff like that, that's on you. But I just use a hat and a veil for the most part, most of the time. Depends on the attitude of the bees. I do have a bee suit, but I seldom ever use it. And anyway, I'm going to start by showing you the swarm trap and how it works, and I'm going to explain some things about that, so come along with me. All right, so this is my swarm trap, and it kind of looks like a beehive, doesn't it? I actually bought this 8-frame box years ago, and I only use it for swarm trapping now. You'll see it's about half rotten. It's not pretty. Walk you around it. That's just dirt. It's been sitting out in the weather this year. And it's got I do have a bottom on it. That is some pretty heavy duty. This is treated lumber, okay? The bottom board. Now, the bees aren't going to be in here very long. I don't recommend using treated wood for anything but maybe a swarm trap. And because they're only going to come in a few times before I bring them home and put them in a regular box. They're not even going to stay in this box. They're not going to stay with this bottom, and they're not going to stay with this top. I'm not sure, but I think the top is treated as well. But here's what you do. The bees, they need a certain amount of space, and this is why I recommend you don't go any smaller than this is a deep box. It takes a deep frame. You don't go any smaller than an 8 frame. I see a lot of people using 5-frame boxes for swarm trapping, and they have some success. I've had very little success with 8-frame boxes, but this box right here and this box right here has caught me a whole bunch of bees, and it is completely it's like 100%. Of course, I don't know if I've missed bees or not, but yeah, all the bees I caught in these 2 boxes. So what the bees like to do, give you a little, this is none of this is scientific. This is stuff that I've learned from other people. But what I understand is when a bee is looking for a place to move into with a new colony, you know, early in the spring, every colony tries to make a new queen. The new queen stays, and the old queen leaves with about half the colony. This is how they procreate. This is how the colonies keep going and going and going. So the old swarm that comes out of the hive or the colony, they'll send out a few scouts and they'll look for places, and you want to attract them to the box, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But they like, I know on our big hives we have all these big entrances across the front over here, but bees actually like a small entrance that they have to guard. So that's one of the things that they're going to look for. They're also going to look for an empty area that's protected from the weather as much as it can be. And that's what this box provides. Now, what they'll do is the scout bee will come in the entrance here and will climb up and down the walls and across the bottom. And they may come back several times to do all of this. They don't do it the first trip. I've seen a lot of bees come in, they go in the entrance, and then they go right back out. And sometimes that's good enough. But they like to measure from side to side. They don't measure like we do. They measure in time. How long does it take to get across here? How long does it take to get across here? How deep is it? They crawl up and down the walls. So, I see a lot of people that do swarm traps, and they have success. I'm telling you what I like to do, because this is like my channel. So I'm going to tell you what I like to do, and you can disagree with me if you want to. But I like to put empty, blank frames. The only thing I put in it is, you see that right there? That's just a little piece of foundation, beeswax foundation. So I'll fill this box up with these. This is an 8-frame box. It's going to hold 8 of these frames, and you'll see that all of them are empty. They all have the little strip of wax in them, as you can see here. Okay, and then I try to center them up. You can actually put 9 frames in here, but I try to center them up, and they're probably all going to slide to one side when I go to hang it up. Now, the only other thing that I do, well, again, I have to back up just a second. I want you to know before I go any further that I am an Amazon affiliate. And if I share a link with you and you click on that link and you purchase a product, they're going to give me a little commission. It doesn't cost you any extra to do this, and it gives me a little bit of spending money for bee stuff and making more videos. It kind of motivates me to keep on going. So if you'll use the link of what I'm about to show you, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. This is the magic formula. And you see that. Premium Swarm Lure, Swarm Commander. Seems kind of blurry on my phone for some reason. Swarm Commander. I don't know what it is that they do to make this stuff. I'm not going to pretend to know, but it is magical. Okay? I've used different things that people suggest, even the things that the old-time beekeepers used to use and had a lot of success with, but I haven't had the success with those things as what I've had with this thing. And it's real simple. You'll get about 100 doses or 100 squirts out of this thing, I believe. You just take a little bit on top of the frames, maybe a little shot in the doorway, maybe a little shot across the front. couple of shots. And that's it. I'm going to set that to the side. And it smells like lemongrass oil, and I'm sure that it has lemongrass oil in it. But I think the queen bee, she's the one that smells like lemongrass oil. So it just attracts them to the box so that they'll come check it out. Then I put the lid on. And then I screw it down. Oop, got the wrong size bit. I'll be right back. Alright, so I went and got some screws. I couldn't find the right size bit. So I'm just going to screw it on there. Make sure it's on there pretty tight. Okay. And then I'll go hang it up, and I'll show you how to hang it up later when I get out to the place. Now, I just saw, give me just a second, I just sprayed that stuff, and it's January, so they're not looking for a place to move to yet, but it is about between 55 and 60 degrees, probably closer to 60, so they're out and about. But I just saw a bee. Oh. Can you see? She got up in my little chick feeder. Anyway. That's it. I'll show you how to hang it when I bring it out to the woods. And I just hang it on a tree out in the woods, or actually around the house here. I'll often put them up on top of a building, like that one right there, or that one right there. I'll just set them up on the roof, check them every week or two. When they're here, I'll check them about every week. When I have them off in the woods, I'll let them go for about 2 weeks. And every couple of weeks, you spray a little bit more Swarm Commander in it, and then eventually the bees will come. I'm telling you, they'll come. If you have bees in your area, they will show up. So let's talk about a minute what you need to do right now to get started. I'm going to recommend you go ahead and get you a bee box. You don't have to buy the whole kit, just the box, just an 8-frame or a 10-frame box, and some frames. You will need that. That's going to be your getting started is going to be your biggest expense, I do believe. But get you a box, get you some frames. If you have a bee supply store, beekeeping supply store near you, that's going to be the cheapest way to get them. Or you can just build your box. Oh, I did say I was going to give you the dimensions, didn't I? So if you're going to build your own box, I recommend these dimensions because you want your frames to be able to fit inside. So outside dimension is about 20 inches. The length of it, the width of it is going to be a little bit over 14. It's like 14 and an eighth. 14 would do. And then your height is going to be, let me see here, you could probably go 10 inches on the height. And then make sure you put you a frame rest on the inside like this. See if you can see this. This is where the frames rest. You can do that just by ripping it with your table saw if you have one. And if not, maybe, get somebody that you know that has one. Or you can look up some videos online. They'll show you how to put a notch like this in your wood. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a woodworker. I'm not going to try to teach you how to do woodworking. But you can purchase these boxes. They're probably about 20 bucks. You can purchase the frames. You'll have to get, I think 10 frames is how they come usually, and they'll be about 20 bucks also. And maybe a little foundation if you want to. The foundation is not necessary, but I do like to use it to kind of give them a guide of how to get started. As far as hanging this thing up goes, I'm going to take a board similar to this. I'm going to screw it onto the back, and then I'll put a screw right up here going through this board into the tree, and that's how it'll be hanging up. So we'll show you that before too long. I'm sorry the video is going so long. I'm just trying to make sure I cover everything. But get the box. Back to what I was saying. Get the box, get the frames, and get the Swarm Commander now. Don't wait, because now is the time. I don't care if you live in Miami, Florida, or if you live in Seattle, Washington. Now's the time to get started. And if you're in Miami, Florida, you could do this year-round. You don't have to wait for a certain season of the year. You can actually keep bees and catch bees year-round, from what I've been told. But here in Louisiana, now's definitely the time to get started, because you got just a small window of opportunity, probably around the middle of February is when I like to get my swarm traps out. And reason being because they will, if it's a warm early spring, and this is kind of a warm early spring, and things start blooming a little bit earlier than what they normally would, the red maples start blooming early, then you're going to have early swarms. I put them out in February, the last couple of weeks of February, and then usually in March and April is when your heavy swarms here in Louisiana is when your heavy swarms are going to hit. That's probably the incline to the swarm season. May and June, it's going to kind of start tapering off a little bit. But I have caught them. I've caught one swarm a couple of years ago on July the 4th, so bees are going to do what bees are going to do. I've had a friend that's caught them in September. Bees are going to do what they're going to do. It just depends on the nectar flow is primarily what it is. So, get the box, get the Swarm Commander, go ahead and get that done today. Get the frames and get that done today. And that way you're ready when, and start scoping out a place. Find a place where you know there are bees is the best thing I can tell you. If you know where there's a colony in a tree, and I happen to know where there's a couple of colonies in a couple of trees, and I'm just going to let them stay there. I'm not going to try to get them out of the trees, but what I'm doing is every year I'm trying to catch swarms off of those bees. I'm going to let the wild bees do what they do. As long as they can live, they're good. They're a good genetic, and they're going to make you some good bees too. So try to find them in the wild if you can, and set up your swarm traps not right next to them. That would work, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'd say go a quarter of a mile down the road, set you up a swarm trap. Okay? And next time you see me talking about this, I'll be putting a swarm trap up somewhere, and you can see how I do it. Hey, y'all have a good day. Good talking to y'all. Hope to see you again.